Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello everybody. So this is our 6th lecture in Introduction to Linguistics, and the lecture will deal with words and word formation processes. After a short introduction, we'll talk about etymology and different types of word formation. That's including coinage, borrowing, compounding, blending, clipping, back formation, conversion, acronyms, derivation, prefixes and suffixes, infixes, multiple processes. So, a lot of people use words in their first language without knowing that it is not originally part of their first language. People really had no difficulty coping with new words. So, whatever a word that emerges in a language, okay, by any means, people very quickly adapt themselves and get that word, okay, and start using it. That is, they can very quickly understand a new word in their language. And that's what we call neologism. Neologism, that's the acceptance, the creation of a new word and the acceptance of that new word and the use of that new word in their own language. So the creation, they understand a new word in their language and accept the use of different forms of that new word. This ability must derive in part from the fact that there is a lot of irregularity in the word formation processes in our language. So how it comes that we accept new words and start using that new word in different situations. Well, for example, if it is a verb, we start using that verb with the singular, the plural, the feminine, the masculine, without any difficulty. So certainly there are some regularities, some rules and regulations, okay, in the word formation processes in our language. In this lecture, we will explore some of the basic processes by which new words are created. The first, first, let's deal with the etymology. Etymology is the study of the origin and history of a word. It is the study of the history and the origin of a word. Okay, but etymology as a term, okay, like many of our technical words, comes to us through Latin. That was speaking about English language. This word, okay, etymology, comes from Latin language, but has its origin in Greek. Before Latin, Latin got it from Greek language, and the English language got it from Latin. So, etymon, and that means original form, logia, study of the original form, and is not to be confused with entomology, also from Greek, but etymon means insect. Okay, so the study of insects. There are many ways in which new words can enter a language. The first one we are going to deal with, most of them we are going to deal with in a minute. Many new words can cause objections as they come into use today. Well, so many people tried, just as an example, the spread of new media, films, satellites, TV channels, radio channels, internet. People start to use new vocabulary, okay? The new vocabulary, the new words were, to a certain extent, these new words spread in a region for a short time, but the objection, okay, that these words faced, okay, made them disappear one more time. As they come into use today, that is, people do not easily accept the use of new words at first and reject them. Instead of looking at these innovated words as an offense against language, instead of looking at these new words as a crime against language, it is better to see the constant evolution of new words and new uses of old words as a reassuring sign of vitality and creativeness in the way a language is shaped by the needs of its user. So, whether we take the spread of new words, okay, as an aggression and crime against our language, and at that time we will reject it, or we see, okay, or we see these words as a sign of being alive, okay? So if the language does not really accept the use of new words, it seems like a dead language. It will be static. There will be no change. So if we are going to see it as a sign of life, so we'd better see the means and the ways by which new words enter a language. The first means, or the first way, or the first process by which a word can enter a language is coinage. One of the least common processes, okay? So it's not the most famous one, or the most used one, or the most common one, okay? One of the least common processes of word formation in English is coinage. What does that word mean? The invention of totally new terms. So, it has no origin, no existence at all, and we create it, okay? So, the most typical sources are invented trademark names for commercial products that become general terms. For example, instead of saying, so here we speak about trademarks. Let's say, for example, Pepsi, okay? So, some children, okay, for example, get into the supermarket and they ask for Pepsi. But in fact, they won't really want to drink Pepsi as a soft drink, but any soft drink. So, for example, Pepsi stands for soft drinks. Okay, maybe it's not a real example, but just to make the example, the process of coinage close to your minds. Okay, so the most typical sources are invented trade names for commercial products that become general terms, usually without capital letters. So when we use these words as a general, okay, so it will not be capitalized for any version of that product. Another example, as you can see on your slide, okay, so Kleenex and Xerox. Kleenex is one mark of tissues, hand tissues or paper tissues, okay? But now I'm going to buy Kleenex, and I can buy another brand, another mark, okay, trademark or trade name, okay, of that general product, which is tissue. Xerox, okay, or sorry, Xerox. Xerox is a type of machine, okay. It's one brand of printing machine, okay. It's not like the modern printers, okay. But that name of that brand, okay, has become used for all types of Xerox machines. New words based on the name of a person or a place are called eponyms, okay. For example, sandwich. Sandwich is after the name of one person. Jeans, Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is not the perfume, but the unit to measure the temperature. Okay, so these words are in fact related to names of persons, and now we are using these words as a common word. The second process that can be used for words to enter a language is borrowing. Borrowing is the process of taking words from other languages. So we take one word and we use it in the same way as it is in its